Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we're doing a group prediction for StayC. In this group prediction, we're going to check 3 different questions, which will be their current energy, and then question number 2 will be the group career predictions, and the second part of question 2 will be the individual career predictions. Lastly, question number 3 will just be any advice or any healing messages that have to come through for the group for this year. And in the description below, I will have the timestamps in case you want to jump around questions or sections. And if not, I will see you in a little bit. And we'll start with their current energy. So how is StayC doing right now? What is StayC's current energy? So they have a bunch of wands to start off. The first card that they have is the 8 of Wands, which came out very quickly, which it makes sense because of what the 8 of Wands means. Then they have the 6 of Wands reversed and the Page of Wands reversed. So I feel a bit of a contradiction and not so much. The 8 of Wands is supposed to represent fast-moving energy. It can talk about movement of someone physically going from one place to another, but movement here as well, it could be of fast, very quickly taking action, and it's very fast because all the energy is concentrated in one area. However, because of the other 2 cards that we have right here, I'm a bit concerned or a bit worried. Not necessarily because they're doing anything wrong or anything bad, or I feel like they're rushing into things, as much as I wonder what is going on, that they're either working very hard to do something, or maybe they're doing last minute changes. I'm not too sure because the energy feels very scattered. That's the issue here. I do feel that maybe the group may be rushing into something, or maybe they're very quickly trying to prepare for something. Maybe the group is going to have a comeback very soon. Wait a minute. I think I saw it in my suggested that StayC was going to take something out. But I've been kind of out the loop with StayC, so I don't really know what they're up to. So, but if they are going to take something out, that could explain why the 8 of Wands feels a bit scattered. And instead of very quickly taking action, it feels a bit more rushed. And even though those 2 words seem very similar, they have very different vibes. Someone that's going quickly is just doing things fast, but someone that is rushed is someone that is being pushed by an outside force to act quickly. Now, let's look at the other cards and maybe we'll get a better idea of what's going on with the group. So the 6 of Wands usually represents someone that is victorious, someone that's given credit for their hard work or for what they've done. It is someone that is being paraded around and celebrated in a way. However, with it being reversed, I do wonder if the group feels like a lot of their efforts have been really paid off, or when they take action, people don't recognize their work or don't really appreciate what they do. Maybe the group feels like they've been trying very hard and they haven't really gotten the popularity that they wish they could get, or they haven't gotten the attention to the work that they've done. So maybe they feel a bit pushed to the side or outcasted, or maybe they feel like that their work is not getting the recognition it deserves, basically. So currently, maybe the group feels a bit discouraged, or maybe they don't feel that comfortable under the spotlight, or maybe they don't feel deserving of it somehow. So, because the 6 of Wands can mean multiple things when it's reversed. Like I mentioned, upright is someone that's getting recognized, someone that's being celebrated, people that are being admired. And also the 6 of Wands, when it's upright, does describe a celebrity, or it could. Now, with them in reverse, that's when we're having some issues here, because it could mean that maybe they don't feel like they deserve the spotlight. It could mean that some of the members maybe don't really like being under the spotlight, or like I was mentioning in a lot of detail, maybe they feel like their hard work is not being recognized somehow. So it could be a couple of those things, right? Now, the other card I have right here is the Page of Wands. So usually Wands talk about action. It talks about being inspired and motivated. Something that drives you forward, right? Like a little spark or fire that pushes you forward. Now, pages talk about the beginning of something. A page is a very young energy. It is someone that is in experience in its area or in its suit. Pages usually describe very young energy, very inexperienced, and it could be the beginning of a new chapter or a new cycle. Now, the Page of Wands, when you combine it, it talks about someone that has a spark of inspiration or an idea, and they may not know how they're going to take action towards this idea that they have, or maybe they're at the beginning stages, so they're kind of like more in the I desire to do this, I'm motivated to do this, I'm driven to do this, that kind of vibe. But with it being reversed, I do feel that the group wants to very quickly do something. We have want energy, so they're ready to take action. They're like, whatever they're thinking is in the stages of like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. So they're in a very active state to get things done. Now, the thing that I wanted to mention though is that there is a sense that currently the group is going through a stage where they want to very quickly take action and raise and like being put under the spotlight or do well. However, they're being afraid because maybe they feel like people don't see their hard work or don't not see their efforts. So this kind of may show that because of that idea, it's becoming this mental hurdle or this blockage of sorts that is kind of pushing this page of wands to be reversed. And usually when you have a page of wands reversed, it could talk about someone that's hesitating to take that first step or to do something new or to start a new chapter in their lives. Because in this case for them, it will be because they have some baggage where they feel that their efforts are not paying off. And paying off in this case could be like other people do not see them, maybe they don't do as well as they wish they could do, or maybe something does not meet their expectations. So there's some sort of disappointment here, and this kind of shows that currently the group is in that state where they want to take action and do something, but they feel a bit afraid of or hesitant to even take that action because they haven't gotten the results that they have wanted for quite a while. So that's kind of where the group is at right now. So let's go on to question number 2 and figure out what is in store for the group this 2024. What's in store for StayC? No! So you guys don't see this because it happened off camera. But when I was shuffling the Moonology cards, they fell. And since they fell like this, it pushed away the Page of Wands and it fell right down to the floor. So I'm going to struggle to pick it up, but let me try to pick it up. So the card that I got is a time to release negativity with a full moon in Scorpio. So currently, what's in store for them this year is letting go of all this baggage. And for the first question that we answered, we kind of know what some of this baggage is. And it's kind of like, since their expectations have not been met, and they may have felt a lot of disappointments, the group has reached a point where they don't feel comfortable taking risks, or they don't feel comfortable doing what they're doing now because they do not want to disappoint themselves or not have their expectations be met anymore, to the point that that's kind of starting to hold them back. And instead of being hesitant in a, I guess, balanced nature where it's kind of like do not be reckless type of way, they've reached a point where they just don't want to do anything anymore just to avoid disappointments. So with this, it's a time to release negativity. It kind of shows that the main focus for the group this year will be to let go of those limiting beliefs, letting go of that fear, letting go of those past disappointments or that past energy that may be holding them back at this point. Because it's kind of like, yeah, maybe their expectations have not been met, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they should give up. Unfortunately, they're in a very competitive industry, so it makes sense that numbers say a lot. Numbers speak volumes, and it is numbers can definitely get you more like people to support you in the background round, right? So I do feel that for the group this year, they're going to be letting go of all of that energy that could be holding them back. Like whatever mentality they have that is bringing them down, they're going to be letting go of that. And they're going to transform for sure. Now, I don't know if this transformation will be reflected in their work. And by this, I don't know if they're going to maybe change their music, change their promotional side, or maybe we will see it through the girls themselves and we're going to see how the members are slowly changing and transforming. Like maybe they have a different attitude, maybe they have a different way of expressing themselves, and however it may manifest, the whole point is that as individuals, the whole group is going to go through this transformation on their way of viewing things, on their approach, and their way of thinking about things as well. And that is simply so that they can get things done. Because at the point that they're in right now, they kind of have caged themselves to a certain label, a certain way of doing things, or they have kind of limited themselves because of fear of not doing not meeting their expectations. Now let's go on to the individual section of this part. So bear with me in case I say someone's name wrong. So I'll start with Sumin. So Sumin career predictions. We have adventure. So it seems like she's going to go. Actually, the first thing that I got is that maybe she'll be part of a program, or she will have a segment or a show or something where she will go on vacation or on an adventure, or she will be showing everyone how she's doing something new that is completely different. Like maybe she's in a completely different environment. Like that's the main point. And adventure for me, usually this card is supposed to symbolize the Fool, and the Fool in tarot is the first major arcana card, or the first card in all of tarot, if you want to put it that way. Is number 0, and this card is supposed to represent a new beginning, and it's kind of like taking the leap of faith, or taking that initial step taking that initial step that leads you into something new and leads you into this new chapter of your life where it's filled with unknowns, and it's supposed to represent an individual that is ready to take on this new journey, basically. So for her, it feels like this year, her career is going to be filled of new things. It's going to be filled with unknowns, but instead of feeling discouraged, she will feel a bit more of this adventurous mood of, let's see where it takes us, let's just go for it. So she's going to be a risk taker this year. She's definitely just going to do things and see where she ends up. She's going to just be learning and adapting to her environment, because I do feel that she will be thrown into an area or a place in her life where she is very unfamiliar with it. I don't think this is necessarily anything bad of any sort, as much as she's just like, I don't think someone just threw her into the unknown and was like, fend for yourself. I think this is more of like an opportunity presented itself and she just took it. And I don't know how the rest of the group is going to be, but this is the type of energy that the group should have, because I think it will benefit them a lot to be able to take action once again. So in a way, it's like letting go of expectations, but not in a way of resignation, but more in a way of not allowing those expectations to limit them or tie them too closely to results. But that's kind of like a group, more of like, this is for the group rather than for Sylvine herself. But let's go on to the next person, which is Xion. So what's in store for Xion's career this year? So a card flew out, and we have Disturbance, but I'm kind of curious about this top one. And we have Sweet Dreams. Okay, that's crazy. Okay, so for Xion, it seems like the Disturbance card makes me think that she's going to be interrupted a lot. So this year for her career, maybe there's a lot of projects that she wants to do, or a lot of things that she wants to take on, but for whatever reason, they never go through somehow. That's like, I don't know, that's one way this energy could be manifested. Like maybe her projects don't really take off somehow, and by this somehow is like either they're not seen by the public, or behind the scenes the project kind of just falls through. So it's like, oh, this would be a good idea, but it never really reaches past like the planning stage. That's kind of what I'm getting. Like maybe permissions or approvals are not, like, don't pass through, or maybe the funding is not enough, or maybe there's not enough staff or enough of a crew to be able to get this project to take off. So this year, career-wise for her, is going to be quite challenging in that sense. However, with the Sweet Dreams, I do feel that she's going to be able to rest a lot this year, or she will be able to be very calm despite all of the issues that she may encounter. Also with the Disturbance card though, I wonder if she may be haunted by something from the past, or they're like either a past guilt, or maybe an incident that happened in the past that is kind of like following her to this moment in a way that could be a bit disturbing for her. So maybe there's something, like if we combine these two cards, what we can get is that even if she's very stressed, and even if things don't work her way, or maybe if she has baggage that she still has to work through this year for in regards to her career, so like this baggage will be like maybe projects don't take off, or maybe they don't reach the success that she wishes they did, or whatever. those issues will not get to her, in the sense of it will not disturb her health and it will not get in the way of her sleep. Because when I see sweet dreams, I'm taking this a bit literal, in the sense that she will be able to rest well, take care of herself, and she will stay healthy. Because I mean, sleeping well is part of being healthy, right? So I do feel that this year for Xian, her projects, or like the baggage that she has with her career, may be a bit of an issue for her, in the sense that they don't really take off the way that she wished they would. But aside from that, she's going to do well for herself, as like her body, her mind, her emotions, like at least that side of herself is going to do fine. So I do feel that in this case, she will encounter more of external issues and conflicts this year, rather than internal disturbances. And I'm saying it this way because sometimes it happens that people have a very good environment, but since in the inside there's work that has to be done, they can't really appreciate the people around them or appreciate the environment that they're surrounded with. And there are other times that someone can be doing very well for themselves, but their environment is so messed up that it starts getting to them in a personal level. But in this case, for Xion, it is kind of like a mix of both, in the sense that she will be okay, and even though her environment is going to be kind of unstable or a bit like messed up, she will still be fine though. So that's what I'm telling you. It's kind of like a mix of both, where her external issues will not get in the way of her personal stability. That's the best way I can describe it. So let's go to the next person, which is Isa. So what's in store for her career this year? We have loss. So it seems like this year is going to be quite challenging for her. Either maybe someone that she really cares about may pass away, and they can really get in the way of her concentration when she works. And the other thing could be that in her career, she may feel like it's a lost cause. So there's no, like, it doesn't, which I mean, very similar to what we saw earlier with the whole group. Like, she may feel that it doesn't really matter what she does, or how she approaches it, or who she works with. Her career is not succeeding the way that she wishes it would. And it is reaching a point where she doesn't feel happy with it, and she doesn't feel comfortable with it anymore. And by comfortable in this case, I mean that she doesn't feel that energetic or that enthusiastic about working anymore, because again, the results are something that are weighing very heavily in her enjoyment of her career. In this case, what I mean is that maybe she feels that she puts work in it, but it's never enough, so she's reaching a point of wanting to give up. So that's why I'm saying that maybe she feels like her career is a lost cause somehow. This year, for her career, she may also have projects that don't work through for whatever reason, and that could be very discouraging as well. So maybe that's why she may also feel like her career is a lost cause in that case. Well, let's hope that regardless of that, she still has a decent year. But let's go on to the next person. So what's in store for Seon's career? Seon's career this year. We have commitment and merit making. So this year, it feels like she's going to be very dedicated to her work and to her contract. Even if she may feel like she has to go against the current, she will do her best to stay at peace and to stay calm and stable. There is a sense that she may feel like sometimes either her contract, her commitments, or the promises she has with people get in the way of her work or get in the way of what she wants to do. Regardless, this merit making makes me think that she will still be very at peace. She will be in alignment with herself and what she wishes, and also in alignment with her environment. So even if she may feel sometimes that she has to be a bit rebellious or go against the current, I'm saying because of the commitment card. Like, when she, like, it seems like this year, there will be times where she feels like she has to, like, push boundaries in order to reach the points that she desires in her career. And by pushing boundaries, it's like kind of like maybe having to negotiate very heavily for a project, or maybe having to work very hard to be able to achieve a certain goal or something. And this goal could be something that goes that may get in the way of her schedules, or maybe gets in the way of her work, some of like the work as like within the group or something. The other thing that I'm getting though is that this 2024, she will go through this period where even if she feels stressed or tied down by her career or held back somehow, she will still find a sense of inner peace and tranquility that will bring her the stability necessary to continue on with her career or to continue doing what she wants to do individually as a person. I don't know if what she wants to do will be in regards to her career within the industry, or if it will be more with just her personal routine or her personal life. But whatever it is, she's going to be very at peace and very calm this year. And there, as I mentioned, there will be times that maybe she has to push for a project to take off, or push for a certain activity that she wants to do, because maybe it's in conflict or it clashes with the schedule that she already has, like within her company or within the group. So there is a sense of like maybe having to break free from a contract, or maybe trying to push the boundary so she can have some wiggle room to do what she wants to do individually. Now on to the next person, which is June. So what's in store for June's career this year? So we have memory. It feels like for her, she's going to go through a period in her life where she's going to connect back to all the memories of her career, so maybe the good old times. Now this memory thing could be like maybe she's going to be posting old pictures, or maybe she's going to be thinking of like the good old times that she had with her career. Oh, you know what I'm starting to think? Now, we will see what happens, because sometimes the end of something does not necessarily mean something bad. Now, I'm saying this because with the previous cards that I just read, and I mentioned something about breaking free from a contract, and then I'm seeing memories, and then I'm seeing all the other cards, and I'm starting to think, will the group disband? If that's the case, some of these cards will make sense. The loss that Isa felt could mean the end of a contract. The disruption or disturbance that we saw with Xian could mean the end of the contract. And the adventure that we saw for Simin could mean that she's being free and now she's just jumping into the unknown to see what she finds for herself. So, and also with June, which is who I'm reading for right now, memory could symbolize that she's just, this year she will just be thinking and reflecting and going through this very introspective side of her where she is just thinking back to her past and reflecting upon it. So maybe this year for her career, she's going to start looking back to see what worked and what didn't work, or trying to see the moments that made her happy, so that she can like hold on to those to stay positive for this year, or to stay encouraged and motivated, so she can have the drive necessary to do what she wants to do this year. So there might be even some inner child healing that she will do, because this album makes me think of this photo album makes me think of like family and memories. So that's why with her it could be something along those lines, where she is taking her time to look back and see what made her happy and what worked, so like that she can take those as little treasures or fuels of energy that she can like always look at. So it helps her energize or reset herself in such a way that she can continue working like with this new energy. But let's go on to the last person, which is Jay, and figure out what's in store for her this 2024. So the cards that we have is Trump, Readiness, and Loneliness. So for Jay, with these cards, it feels like she may do a lot of things on her own this year. So for her career, maybe she may have a lot of solo activities, or she may really feel like going on her own path to do her own thing will make her a lot more successful, but it will be quite a lonely path. Because this loneliness there's this feeling that she will try very hard to just do her own thing, get things done, join projects, jump into the unknown. And even though she's ready to just walk into all of these new things and see where it takes her, and maybe deep down she knows they will do well or they will be successful somehow, there is this loneliness where maybe she feels like it's a bit unfortunate that maybe as a group they don't do that well, but then when she's on her own she does perfectly fine. And maybe that's why she feels a bit lonely, in the sense of like she wishes that she could have this mentality or this energy with the group. And by that could show that she just really likes the group and wants them all to succeed together. But maybe it just doesn't really work out the way that she wishes it would. And maybe it's a bit more fruitful for her to go and do her own thing. Because this card right here kind of shows that she's ready to work on her own if necessary and do projects on her own, even if it's something that she's never done before. However, it's a bit disappointing because she wishes she could share all of this fame and good fortune with a group. I guess it's one of those things that maybe the company sees it a bit more monetarily beneficial to have her on her own than to have her in the group and push for the group stuff. So maybe that's why for her it could be a bit discouraging or a bit like, maybe she feels a bit sad that it had to reach that point. But that's just kind of how the cookie crumbled, right? Now for Jay, I do feel that also there is this sense where she feels like she has to go through a very lonely road. And this lonely road could be one where she's so focused on her career, so focused on her job and in the industry that she's in, that maybe she feels like she has left behind very strong relationships or personal relationships, like friends or people that support her. Like maybe she feels like she's leaving them behind because she's so, or like she doesn't feel as connected to those people anymore because she's been focusing so much on her career. So I do feel like that could also be like something that's kind of coming up here. Like by chasing her dreams and her success, she may feel a bit disconnected from the people that are part of her life or were part of her life. And I do feel that this is more in regards to friends and maybe family. But this family, I mean, I guess she could still feel that about family. Like, I don't think she's in bad terms with these people as much as she just feels like she hasn't passed or spent. I mean, she hasn't spent the time that she wishes she could on these people that she cares about. Now let's go into the third part of this video and see what advice or healing messages are they for StayC. So we have a full moon eclipse with conclusions are within reach. So if the group has felt like they've been in this unstable or things have not been really set on stone, soon enough they're going to reach a point where they know where everything stands and they know where, like, what everyone's thinking or what everyone is expecting. So again, if the company has been like on the edge of like, should we continue with a group or not, soon enough they'll have an answer. They'll have a clear idea of where the company stands in that case. Or like if there's been talks about the future of the group, like what's going to happen with them, they're going to get clarity soon enough. With conclusions are within reach, it kind of feels like the plans for them are going to come out soon. But let's see what else there is for them. Now, how is this advice for the group? Very simple. If the group has been wondering what's like, that everything is up in the air, or they may feel like things are not clear, the advice here, or like the message here, is basically that they are going to get answers very soon and very quickly, that they don't have to worry too much about it. Like it's a little bit of a matter of time, but things are coming, like a conclusion is being reached for sure. Wait, that's literally what that says. So like an ending is approaching. Things are a bit more concrete and set on stone in such a way that they will be able to now make decisions instead of being left out in the blue of like what's happening. Now, the void of course moon, when nothing will come of the situation, I do feel that if there is a disappointment that they will have to reach, there is some sort of like if there's something that they wish for, is not gonna go through. So it feels like there is a sense of like not getting too attached to a situation or not getting too attached to a certain expectation, or do not get too attached to a certain outcome as well. So nothing will come out of the situation with this void of course moon makes me think of having to go down a path that has not been going down through. Or because a void of course moon kind of makes me think of something that goes out the right path, or like if there's a set path of like you should go here, someone like walks around it or does not really follow it. So this makes me think that the best advice for them is that instead of like getting too hung up with how things usually work and staying within conventions and staying within the limitations of what they know, is like the best advice for them to not feel disappointment or not feel like their expectations have not been met is by just going down the unexpected, being unconventional, do things that other people do not do, because then they will not be too tied with the results, because they can't really compare themselves to anything if they're doing something that no one has done before. And when I mean no one has done before, I don't mean that they have to go like super crazy and like do something so innovative that no one could have ever imagined it. It's more like just do what you want to do what makes you who you are, even if other people have done it. Is like no one has done it or no one will ever do it the way that you do as an individual, right? So I do feel that the best advice for them is to just kind of do what they want to do and whatever really calls out to them. So like that, they don't get too attached to the result and don't compare themselves to others in a way where they're just content doing what they're doing, if that makes sense. Because that will definitely make their burdens less. They will not be super stressed and so hung up on results that it could be a bit damaging to the work that they do, because then it's like instead of celebrating the small victories in their life, they go like, oh, but this is not good enough, this is not where I want to be. And that could be something that can bring their energy down if they have this type of mentality constantly. But let's get one last card of advice for StayC. Wait. One last card of advice for the group. So the card that just fell is third quarter moon with adjustments are required. It definitely feels that for them this year, the best advice is to just do things differently. They do have a lot of purple with, 3 out of 4 cards have like very deep purples. This makes me think that it is almost like fate or destiny for them to just kind of do their own thing, go down the unbidden path, do things differently, being unconventional. Is like there will be something, like a decision will be made that will force the group, or like the best advice for the group is that instead of being down by this decision that was made, the best, because the conclusions are within reach, makes me think of like the end of a cycle or the end of a chapter. And usually when there's the end of something, it's also the beginning of something. It's kind of like when you finish something within your life, like you reach a certain goal, or maybe the goal has not been met, you'll feel like, oh man, this is it, that there's nowhere else to go. But the reality of things is that life continues moving forward. Life just goes on, right? So that's why it's always like when there's an ending, there's a new beginning. And I do feel that the new beginning for them is the advice of just doing things differently, not getting attached to the results, not making their expectations be everything. Like expectations should be a goal, but it should also have like the flexibility to reach that goal. So like that there's no unnecessary baggage or burdens that are overwhelming them individually, right? And what the adjustments are required is this flexibility that I'm talking about, right? It is like continue moving forward, doing what you love and what you like, but don't feel tied down or overwhelmed. Or the best way to not feel those things is by being flexible, is by being open, is by going with the flow. So the best advice for the group this year is to just kind of go with the flow and see where it takes them. Have the intentions to achieve a certain goal, but to not tie themselves down with conventions of like, this is how it should be done, this is based on what others have done, this is what it means to be successful, or this is what it means to be happy, or whatever. It's more like try to define those things for yourself, so like that you do feel actual satisfaction when reaching those goals in a very lighthearted way as well. So I hope you guys like this reading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This one is quite tough because I do feel like the group is going through a very tough time. And after it kind of came into my mind that maybe the group could disband, the cards make more sense. Because the group's current energy feels one of someone that is already kind of defeated. And it could also explain why the energy is a little bit spread out or it's not concentrated. And that's because everyone's already thinking of what they're going to do individually. And I highly doubt that they're thinking that because the group is in a place where they're already going to do individual work. They could, like, maybe that's like the last attempt or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I do like StayC's music, but I do feel that for a small company, maybe the group is not doing the way that will be viable for the company to survive. Actually, I don't really know how K-pop groups work, so I mean, like from the business part of it. So I don't know if StayC's doing well or not, or if that gets in the way with the ability for the company to stay open or not. Like, I don't really know how that works in that case. But aside from that, I do wonder if they will disband this year or not, or if they will get more of a concrete answer as to what the future of the group will be like. And maybe that's why we're getting here this whole idea of like, do things on your own, do not get too tied up with expectations, and see where it takes you. Anyway, I will leave that there. See you guys in the next one, whenever that is, however that is. I hope you guys learned from this, or at least found it entertaining. I'll see you whenever or however, but laters. Love and healing from my part to you, and bye.